Hey there, Mr. and Mrs. Tosco. I am a regular customer of yours, and I also happen to be a UX and usability expert. So, this is my gift to you. I thought that some information on how to improve the mobile experience for your customers could help with your business. So, without further ado, here is the kind of presentation I normally give to customers when I'm trying to help them improve their websites or apps so that they can get more business. All right. So, in a nutshell, I show people where their customers are getting stuck. Okay. Now, I compare these to potholes or worse. When we design websites, we often think, oh, it'll work. Everything will go smoothly. The customers are ordering things, so everything must be fine. Unfortunately, that is not everything that is evident. I can determine ways that people are probably either using your sites less or maybe even abandoning your websites. And by fixing some of these problems, they'll be a lot more likely to order from you. Okay, so all these things aren't just for the sake of working on a website or things like that. I think that the findings that I've got here could help you increase order frequency from customers, that you could increase the effectiveness of your marketing efforts, that you could decrease people who might abandon your site, and that you could decrease errors that may occur with some orders. All right, so let's take a look. Along with this video, don't worry, I'm going to give you some materials that can be printed out. So this presentation you're looking at right now, you'll be able to print that out, mark it up with a pen if you'd like, pass it around. And also you'll have a list of findings and recommendations, which can also be printed out because sometimes it's just still easier to go to pen and paper to figure out, what actions we'd like to take. Okay, so sometimes you'll see screenshots of your website on a phone, and you'll also see a prototype that I put together. I will show these as a before and after. The after does not necessarily have to be that way, but I'm trying to demonstrate to you how changing some things around on the website can lead to much better results. Okay, so as I go through these slides, you'll see things like A, B, and C, right? I do that just so I don't get in the way of the graphics, and then I have notes down below where we can see what those are all meaning. Okay, so when you go to the main Tosco's website, there's actually just a bunch of logos. And it's like nice, but I feel like there's room to entice a customer with some kind of visual image of food. And so you can see here where instead of just starting off with the logos for the locations, this is what we are: good food and, good times, right? So just something like that can start to get the customer thinking about your food. Here I'm just showing you that it was optimized for an iPhone 8 Plus. You can actually click through this prototype if you'd like. So in some places the font size is really, really small. So like when you're getting into showing the actual address of the restaurant, it is minuscule. I would definitely want that to be bigger when displayed on the website. It's also not very clear to people who are using your website what is clickable and what isn't. So for example, like I could click on this enter button, but I couldn't actually click on your logo as if it was a button taking me to the next page. And so what might happen there is that a user might be on their phone and they might be, why isn't it going anywhere? Why isn't it going anywhere? And they might be like, oh, the website's broken. Well, that's an order you don't get. Yeah, you can have images act as a link that will take you to the next page too, right? And so there should be more thought put into, a user might press here because they want to go to a specific page. That is definitely something to keep in mind. All right. This is a glitch here. The phone number actually disappears if it happens to be selected. And so it must be turning to the color black when it's selected. That's definitely not what you want to happen. Somebody might select that, then want to call you, but then it's like invisible. Okay, so when you're on the Tosco's website with all the different locations, as you scroll down on your phone, you'll see the enter button to go to the different locations. But as you go down, it actually gets pretty confusing on which enter button is like pointing to this location, right? I advise, here's a prototype I have, where this is what we call cards, right? They look like index cards or playing cards. And so that adds to a clear delineation between the different entries. And so nobody is ever going to go ahead and, click here if they're trying to go to this restaurant, because there's a clear delineation between those cards. Okay. Yeah, when you go and click on the Tosco's brick oven location, you have to scroll down quite a while before you get to any kind of online ordering option. I think that when you have a website like this, we sometimes call it the job to do, right? And what the user is trying to achieve is quite often to place an order. They want to order some food from you online, or maybe they want to call you. And so those types of really important actions need to be emphasized more at the top of the website. We shouldn't have to scroll through all this about us stuff to just place an order. So in the prototype here, which, there's some flexibility to change things, I think just sticking online ordering right at the top, along with a button to place a call, things like that are primary things that people want to do. I do have it repeated down here too, just because I see that you like to distinguish between your dine-in menu and your online menu. And so this also would take you to online ordering. So you've got that. Now, I noticed that on your website, there are some images like this that look a bit stock photo. I think that you have a beautiful restaurant with your brick ovens and your seating areas. And I think if you have some nice pictures taken, that will make your website feel that much more genuine. Maybe some team shots, things like that. Okay, the search flat out just really doesn't work on the website. So you may have heard things like, oh, hey, every website needs a search. People like to search and all that. But this search is not working. I know you've got pizza, obviously. And then for example, I'll search for pizza, and then I kind of get a weird screen like this. It does lead me to some kind of potato bread cheese page, which then just lands me on a picture of baked potato pizza. I search for things like lasagna and whatnot. I would say this. If you're not sure how to get your developer to fix their search, I would just flat out remove it. Because, okay, if I'm going to be visiting your restaurant, I might be like, ooh, I wonder if they have shrimp Alfredo, right? I know you do, and I know it's very delicious. But if I type that in here, it's not going to come up. And if I didn't know that your website had this problem, I might be like, man, they don't have my favorite foods. I'll go somewhere else. We don't want that, do we? And so having a broken search is worse than having no search. So until this is fixed, I would recommend removing the search, because I don't think it's buying you anything. In fact, I think it might be leading people to think that you don't have things that you do have. Okay, so as you scroll down the Tosco's Brick Oven Pizza website, there's all this About Us stuff. And I know that you want to express some of the history of Tosco's and the quality that you provide people. But again, I think at the top of the page, you need to emphasize, hey, you came here, you know about us, you want to place an order. Sure, you can have an About Us section or something like that. But right now, people shouldn't have to scroll past this each time to get to the online ordering. And I know that you've got what they call the 3-line hamburger menu on your website as well. But sometimes users don't even realize that they need to click on that to get to options. And a really important action on a website shouldn't be buried in there, like online ordering. All right, so as I scroll down your website, sometimes I'm seeing black and white images of food, and I think that color is is a key thing that can add to the desire for the food and things like that. And so I don't think that black and white images of the types of food that you create are doing you any favors. I think they're a lot more enticing when they're in color. I do notice that when you hover over them, they turn into color. Um, but I would advise a different approach for emphasizing that those things are, being hovered over, being ready to click, whatnot. Alrighty here. So I clicked on the dine-in menu, and it just looks pretty weird on mobile. I think most people probably wouldn't use it at this point. I mean, I've got a button hiding other things on the screen. Um, I'm not really sure why you delineate between a dine-in menu and a a delivery, not delivery, but a pickup menu. Um, but if you are going to separate it, the dine-in menu can't look like this. Even if you're just going to have people open up some kind of nice document that looks like a menu, that's something. But this is just, I think, on phones at least, people are not going to use this. Okay. So, again, just, drumming in the point, having that online ordering emphasized at the top of your website as opposed to all the way down here is a big deal. Okay, so in some places on the website, you've got cases like this, which we would say has bad contrast. It's really hard for some people to read things like gray on gray here in tiny text. Um, I definitely wouldn't do it. There's no reason that you need to have this kind of color scheme making it harder for people to read important information. Alrighty, so I scrolled down looking at various aspects of your website, and I noticed you've got some social media. It looks like you've got a really good thing going on Facebook right now. But like Google Plus doesn't exist anymore, so you want to remove that Google Plus link because they're gone. The whole Google Plus thing is just gone. So we don't want to have something on the website that they click on that leads them to just a black hole. I noticed that you also have a link to Yelp. And, if you think about this, maybe Yelp led people to your restaurant's website, but do you want to lead people back to Yelp, right? Because they're on your website, they're already thinking about ordering something. They're in your zone. You have a lot of say here on trying to get them to order your food, right? But if you send them back out to Yelp, they may see something from a disgruntled customer or internet troll that might dissuade them, right? So I don't see the need to point to Yelp. In fact, I think, if anybody does click on that, it's kind of like 50-50. Was that a good thing? Are they reassured about ordering, or all of a sudden are they hearing some, negative voice that, causes them to do something else? All right. So as I am placing an order, you've got all these green bars here representing all the different categories, and it's impossible not to touch them and make them get selected as I scroll down on my phone. They're totally flush with the edge of the device, and so as I go down, it wants to select the wrong categories. This is really awkward from a usability standpoint to have a phone, and there should be some what we call margins, right? So here's sort of a prototype showing how a little bit of margin or padding here on the side, and between the buttons helps to make sure people choose the right things and aren't selecting anything that they didn't really want to. Okay, so I know that you're using some kind of service to help with some of the ordering, but all your branding disappears. See, it says getordering.com, okay, but that getordering.com might have a feature that can be set up so that it still shows your Tosco's logo at the top, and that can just help reassure users that they're still in Tosco's, right? Even if you're, you know, using another service to actually complete a transaction, okay. But like if that service has a way that they can add your logo here, it's, you know, it just helps the customer still feel like they're still within your website. And again, all the branding was missing on this page as well. Okay, so when I am going to do something like customize a pizza, there's a few things that could be improved. For example, here's a text box. You can type in the numbers that you want here. Now, here's another technique I have in my prototype, which you could just have something simple like this, where you can just press the plus button to increment things up or down. This isn't, you know, this isn't too bad, but this is a little bit easier to use. And going through the different toppings, right? You know, I kind of like this approach, right? Where you're trying to say, is it going to be the whole pizza or just the left or the right? But frankly, the reddish here and the red here, it just all sort of, at least to my eyes, just sort of blends together. And this could lead to people maybe making a choice that they didn't intend to. And so see what I did in the prototype here. I also made it so you could select size, right? You know, there's a variety of ways you could do size. So I chose to actually show a bigger pizza, smaller pizza, small pizza. But for the toppings, I sort of kept with your whole idea of it being, you know, showing a visual representation, whole pizza, left, right, or, you know, or no option, right? But then down here, I'm using the standard, what we call circular radio buttons, and there's space between the different options. Now, with this kind of setup, there should be no doubt as to which toppings that I've selected, because things are spread out. You know, it's very clear to see which radio buttons are selected or not selected. Okay. So, at this point, you introduce some kind of promo when people are going through their ordering process, and it just feels like I'm trying to check out, and this kind of thing, I used to add cannolis to my order all the time by accident, and I'd get to the end and I'd be like, how did this cannoli get in my cart? And so I think people may choose to add something by accident. They're just trying to go through their checkout process. And so if you really want to have some kind of promo at this stage of their checkout process, I think it needs more thought so that it doesn't feel like a user is tricked into trying to order something that they didn't intend to. Okay. Yeah, I noticed at the top also in the checkout, the cart and the drop-down button behave differently. I was really confused about that. I would just expect to see the cart, and clicking on the cart to show me what my options were. Okay. This is one of my pet peeves. So I really, really like that you have the feature where I can place an order based on a previous order, because, you know, we go through customizing this red vegetarian pizza all the time, and I'm probably going to make a mistake if I have to do that each time. But the thing is, we're sitting here in 2021, okay? So I go to my past orders, and I'm like, I'm going back in time, and all the old orders are at the top. And so I got to scroll. And I think recently I started deleting a lot of the old orders and doing that side of cleanup. I think it would make so much more sense if the newest orders were at the top of, you know, when people are sort of trying to choose something, because I think they're a lot more likely to say, oh, I'd like to order the same thing as last week, than I'd like to order the same thing as a few years ago. So just having the developer switch the order on that, and that should be a pretty small change for them to make as far as sort order goes. Okay, again, on this page, branding is missing. You know, anytime where if you're, you know, this is the account page, anytime that you can get them to add, you know, still your Tosco's logo, helping the person feel like that they're still on the Tosco's website helps users, feel more secure. Promotions. Okay, so we've talked a lot about the website, but then here's sort of a bonus round. Sometimes in the mornings at like 9:30, I'll get a text about some kind of promo. Um, I'm not sure what thought went into sending them out so early in the day, but the last thing I'm thinking about on Monday morning at like 9:30 is ordering the pizza. And so even just thinking about the timing there, when are people likely going to want to act on some kind of deal like this? Not only that, but okay, fine. If there's a promo and I can place an order ahead of time, that would also be beneficial. But I've seen that these particular promos you have are like good in-store only. So as I go through the CrowdClicks experience here, there's just like all these steps to like back out of using the coupon. Let's do this. No thanks. No thanks. And it's just like, it's just a coupon. So if you've gotten somebody's attention and you're showing them the coupon, you don't want to keep having ways for people to be like, are you sure you want this coupon? I don't understand why their flow is working like this. I think it could be so much more effective. Okay, so the CrowdClicks promos that you've got are only valid in store. So if I get this at 9:30 in the morning and I click, hey, I'm ready, you guys don't even open up till 10, and then it expires. So I don't understand why they're doing this whole 15 minute time limit. Sometimes on a website there will be what we call like a lightning deal. You want to make people act now before they forget about it, right? But in this particular case, they can't actually place the order online. This type of coupon is made to be shown to an employee. So if there's any way you can say, it's fine if you want to say, hey, this coupon expires today. That's a world better than saying, hey, it's 9:30 in the morning, and if you open the coupon, it expires in 15 minutes. I think that's totally working against you. Yeah, and again, they're like, are you sure you want this promotion? It's like, look, you've got people this far into wanting to like use the promotion. It'd be so much better if with these promotions, it could lead to somebody placing an online order for a later time. So say that it is Friday at 11 o'clock, and I get this text, and I think, oh, Tosco's is having a deal tonight, right? Then I could place an online order using this coupon code such that my food will be ready for 5 p.m., right? Well, there you've captured me. You've captured the moment of wanting to go ahead and place the order, and you've got my money so that the order will be ready for 5 o'clock. This flow right now is like, just, if somebody sees this since 9:30 in the morning, they'll probably just forget about it. Yeah, and again, how would a customer react if they have this promotion and then they get to the store like 5 minutes late and it's like gone? I wouldn't want to be the person at the register trying to say, oh, sorry. Now, I think you guys have more flexible exceptions, but none of that is voiced here on how any of that'll work. And it needs some work. Okay, so we are still in April here, and I see on your website very prominently you're advertising a 3-hour online event in early June. So I understand you're trying to raise some awareness for this special event. However, I think that there's some room for improvement here for you. It's like, at the very least, if you're telling people about this now, at the very least, you should be letting them fill out a form so that they can be reminded when the day comes. Nobody's just going to click on this and, remember like a few hours later when this event was. So like, what are you expecting to happen here? We're in April. This event's in June, and so at the very least, if you're going to advertise this thing this early, there should be some kind of, oh hey, give us your email and we'll send you a reminder, right? Something, or those text message reminders. I am a little concerned too because somebody may go ahead and click on this right now, and it takes them to the page to order the gift cards, right? But see, right now they're not going to get their 10% off, and I think you could end up with a case where somebody gets upset if they place an order. See, they're seeing 10% here, and then they go and fill out their information, but this promo doesn't start until June, and we're again in April. So, the thing is, yes, you've written all these things out here, when it starts and all that, but people will probably see 10% off and go through and then be like, wait, what are they taking? Where's my 10% off? Because people don't read everything that you put on the website. It's just human nature. So I'm going to leave you with this page here. Now, this page probably leaves you a little bit hollow, right? You're like, that's not my restaurant. And so this is, again, a case where I'm reminding you so that some good photography of your very fine restaurant with your nice brick ovens, seating area, you've got that nice outdoor seating area, getting a professional photographer, and having them take some screenshots for you to pick from. Then you can use that stuff on Facebook, of course, and you can use it on your website. I think that, is something that will help people feel more of a connection with your restaurant, with people there, and make them more want to come and purchase your goods. Okay, I hope this helps. I'll be in touch, and before you know it, I'll be back to pick up some more pizzas. So, alrighty. Thank you. Bye-bye.